My favorite way to explore a city is to ride its transit system. Over the years, I've checked out many different systems around the world, but there are always more to ride. In this video, join me as I try out a transit network that's new to me. This is my first time riding MARTA in Atlanta, Georgia. Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new Trains Are Awesome video. I'm Tom.
I'm Lindsay.
And we are at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, which, fun fact, there are 37 cities in the United States alone that are larger than Atlanta, meaning there's hundreds of cities worldwide. Yet for some reason, Atlanta is the busiest airport in the world. Now we're about to leave it. And to get from one of the many gates to the exit, of course, we're taking the plane train.
Please move away from the doors. The next stop is for A gates. A as in Alpha.
Your attention please. To the construction of the baggage claim route.
So we're headed to downtown Atlanta and we're going to take MARTA to get there. MARTA is the transit system here in Atlanta, and in the 1960s there were 3 cities in the US that began planning subway systems that eventually opened in the 1970s. Those are BART, MARTA, and of course our DC Metro. And I've heard a lot of people say that they're very similar. They've got big wide trains, long distances in the system. So we're gonna ride MARTA today and kind of see if it does feel similar to those other systems. We've been on BART once and we ride the DC Metro every day, so I'm very curious. It's my first time. If you see this sleek, futuristic people mover, you've walked too far. But don't worry, the MARTA station is hard to miss. Hey, I know these machines. A one-way fare on MARTA costs $2.50. A day pass is $9, and they get progressively cheaper the more days you add. Atlanta Airport is served by the red and gold lines during rush hour and just by the gold line all other times of the day. The platforms are located upstairs. Between April 8th and May 19th of 2024, the airport station is closed for construction, so if you are trying to do the same trip during that time period, you'll have to take a shuttle bus to College Park first. MARTA stands for Metropolitan Atlanta Rapid Transit Authority. The agency operates buses, the streetcar, and of course, heavy rail service. The rail network first opened in 1979, around the same time as the first BART and DC Metro lines. So while we haven't gotten on a train yet, I can definitely see the resemblance. The big wide trains, the brutalist architecture, it does look kind of similar to DC at least. So Lindsay, that sign up there, it says S7. Do you know what that is? So that is actually one of the only examples of station numbering in the US. So 5 Point Station, the interchange, that is station 0. And then in every direction, they have a letter with like how many stations away from 5 Points you are. So we are 7 stations south of 5 Points. Here we go. Oof. Maybe we can take this all the way to Salt Lake City.
No thanks.
So a few weeks ago, I had some friends from the Netherlands over in DC, and when they rode the metro, they said the shape reminded them of a Dorito. Well, if they rode Marta, they would also think it reminds them of a Dorito because this train has the same slanted walls. But other than that, that's kind of where the similarities end, because these seats are very different from DC and BART. They're also very wide. Like, it feels like I have a lot of space, and you know, legroom is not bad for a subway. Other than that, the interior design, it looks a lot like DC, just a little bit more dated. The beige walls, the teal floors, it just gives it kind of a retro feel, if that makes sense.
The doors will be opening to your left in direction of travel, pointing into fifth. Over the West Forest Parkway, Southway Mall, Main Street, or the International Convention Center. Federal law requires that you designate senior near the train doors. They are available for seniors, individuals with disabilities. Southway inconvenience, we are senior tracking today. To continue left our destination on the red line, you will exit the reverse and 5. Once I depart, the next red line train will be on the platform 237.
In the 1960s, it was actually Seattle that was considering a large jet-age subway like the other two cities. But when that project was canceled, the federal government took the money that they had set aside for Seattle and gave it to Atlanta instead. Today, the system is 48 miles or 77 kilometers long and has 38 stations. There are 4 lines, though in reality, it's pretty much just 2 main lines, each with a branch line. That's actually how the system was shown on maps until 2009, when each branch received its own color. We are on a Gold Line train. In 2009, this line was called the Yellow Line. However, the large Asian communities around the terminus of Doraville opposed this name because of its connotations, so the line was renamed Gold in 2010. I know from past experience that stories like this bother many YouTube commenters, and I must admit, I find it slightly odd how offended people with no stake in the matter can get whenever a public agency tries to be slightly less offensive, but I guess it's just a sign of the strange political times we live in. On a more positive note, just a little bit over a week ago, the city of Atlanta announced that they will be adding 4 new infill stations to the network. These will be at Murphy's Crossing, Armory Yards, Joseph E. Boone, and Krog Street Halsey Yard. As for similarities to its contemporary systems, you can clearly tell that the system isn't old like New York or Chicago. It's obviously designed as a fast way to get from the near suburbs into downtown Atlanta. But while in Washington, D.C., the stations all have a fairly uniform design featuring very muted colors, here in Atlanta, many stations are colorful and have their own designs. Also, BART and the DC Metro initially emphasized comfort on board, whereas MARTA clearly did not. 5 Points is the main transfer station in downtown Atlanta. Red and gold serve the platforms on the bottom level, while the green and blue lines stop at the upper level. Both levels have these Spanish solution platforms to facilitate easier transfers. But 5 Points is a good example of why just having signs does not automatically equal good wayfinding. Lindsay and I are both seasoned transit users, yet even we got a little bit lost trying to get to the right Blue Line platform. While we head west, let's briefly discuss the future of MARTA rolling stock. The current trains will be supplemented and eventually replaced by a brand new fleet of trains built by Swiss company Stadler. If the renderings are true, these will have lights on the front that will light up according to the color of the line, which is so cool. I cannot wait for these new trains.
train is bound for Infill Station. Este es su punto de transporte para las líneas azul y verde.
So we've now taken a Blue Line train to Ashby Station, and the first thing you'll notice here is that they were very generous when they were installing the station name signs. Ashby, 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 Ashby. So I'd come to Ashby because I wanted to take the Green Line. Actually, I wanted to make today's video about the Green Line because it's a very interesting line. But it doesn't seem like there's any Green Line trains coming for a while, so that's disappointing, but we're just gonna head back to 5 Points. The Green Line sees 2-car trains running to Bankhead. This is what I wanted to show you, but the frequencies were very low that day for some reason, and there was just more we wanted to do during our layover in Atlanta than just ride trains. Shocking, yes, I know.
This train is bound for Indian Creek Station.
We spent some time seeing the Olympic Park, perusing the Coca-Cola gift shop, and riding the streetcar to the King Historic District. But you can see all of that in our next video, which will be all about Atlanta's streetcar. Now it's time for one more ride on Marta, and we're getting back on the Gold Line to head to the airport. So what did we think about Marta? I was definitely glad to finally cross it off my list, and I want to ride it again. I like the retro look of the current cars, and I'm excited for the future ones. But it could and should be more expansive. Atlanta still has such terrible traffic, and I doubt many people even think about it as an option. Higher frequencies would be nice as well.
A northbound Gold Line train is approaching the station. Please stand back from the platform edge.
This is a cool station. I actually like it. It might be my favorite that I've seen so far. It kind of reminds me of some other stations in like Europe and Asia and stuff. Also love that they incorporated the original bedrock.
A sundown Gold Line train is approaching the station. Please stand back from the platform edge. Allow passengers to exit the vehicle before leaving.
Thank you so much for watching today. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to Trains Are Awesome, and we'll see you next time.